Five strange jobs from history. Number 5. Silver miner. This is not so much strange as it is downright dangerous and dirty. Not having tools strong enough to do the job without labor, the ancients had to mine everything by hand, and those hands were usually the small hands of children. Life expectancy in the silver mines was 3 months, but that didn't bother the Romans because it was slaves that did the work. Young boys would be pushed down very small holes that were extraordinarily deep considering they were dug manually. The holes were hot and stuffy and prone to collapse. Outside the mines the silver ore was smelted down, producing poisonous gases. Needless to say, this added to the danger of the job. Number 4. The litter carrier was a slave whose job it was to cart women, and later men, around in little carriages. It was a hard job and a tedious one and could be dangerous. The litter carriers were usually dressed in fine garments and the litters became more and more extravagant over the years. In fact, in later years many wealthy Romans had windows of glass in their litters instead of the traditional curtains. Documents from the Roman times tell us that it was very uncomfortable to travel by litter as it could make one seasick. This job has remained to a certain extent in that there is a group of men trained to carry the papal sedia gestatoria, a throne carried on men's shoulders. The sedia was last used in the 1980s but may make a comeback due to recent security complications surrounding Pope Benedict XVI. Number 3. Curse tablet maker. Curse tablets were thin sheets of soft lead which had curses written on them. The curses were then affixed by nails to the altars or walls of temples. The poor curse tablet writer had sit day in and day out hearing the complaints and woes of his customers who needed curses written. Fortunately many of these curse tablets have survived to modern times so we can get a glimpse of life and the way thinking of the Romans. Here is one example: bind every limb and sinew of Victorious, the charioteer for the blue team. The horses he is about to race. Blind their eyes so they cannot see and twist their soul and heart so they cannot breathe. Number 2. Funeral clown. The funeral clown was paid to dress up as the dead person, wear a mask of his face, and dance about acting like him. The Romans believed that this would placate the spirits of the dead and bring joy to the living. As the funeral processed, the funeral clown would run alongside the corpse with other clowns making jokes and mimicking the dead. Some clowns were very highly regarded and even got to mock the emperor at his funeral. They were well paid and an oddly happy diversion from the clown's regular job as the head of a mime troupe. Number 1. Slinger. A slinger was a man trained to use the sling. The sling was an essential part of Roman military strategy because it was more effective, both in distance and damage, to an arrow. As a child, slingers in training would be required to kill their dinner. No kill, no food. It was an extremely good way to get youths trained fast. The slinger could throw stones up to 1 pound in weight and they could be used accurately up to 200 meters.